This website was designed by an AI team that I orchestrated. Their only input, a 40 years old sales brochure. No human touched the design, the copy, or the code. Just orchestration. Here's the blueprint. You know that feeling when you hit the ceiling of a tool? A single AI agent, no matter how powerful it is a generalist. It can write code, it can write copy, but it's rarely an expert at both. The world's most interesting products aren't built by generalists. They are built by teams of specialists who collaborate. The real pain point isn't getting one agent to do one thing. It's orchestrating a workflow. Taking a complex, creative idea from a PDF scan to a finished product without babysitting every single step. By the end of this video, you will get the complete architecture pattern for building multi-agent creative team. This is for developer who's ready to move beyond single agent and start building multi-agent system that tackle ambitious multi-step tasks. Look, I'm going to be real with you. This took me 47 attempts to get right. The first 30 outputs was garbage. Why? Because I did not understand state management. I thought I could just chain prompts together. Wrong. Multi-agent systems need shared memory and a clear handoff between specialists. The breakthrough came when I stopped thinking about agents and started thinking like an architect designing a company. What gets me isn't the visual polish, it's the understanding. The AI did not just extract data capturing feeling, it understood the simple philosophy from a document that predates the web. Notice the handoff between agents. The design reflects the copy. The code perfectly executes the design. That's seamless collaboration. That's not luck. That's architecture. Real number. The entire workflow costs 0.43 per run. Historian 2000 tokens. Designer 3500 tokens. Copywriter 2800 tokens. Developer 5200 tokens. Total of 13,500 tokens at GPT-4o prices. That's production viable for creative automation. Before we build this, let me show you the system actually working live. No edits. Watch the sequence. Historian finishes first. Then notice this designer and copywriter start simultaneously. They are working in parallel. Both only need the historian's output, but the developer, he's waiting. He needs both the design and the copy before he starts. That's dependency management. LangGraph handles it automatically. 29 seconds from a 1977 PDF to production-ready code. That's the power of orchestrated collaboration. Before we dive into building this, I want to talk about something that changed the way I deploy multi-agent system to production. If you have been following the Architect's Playbook, you know that we have built in Pillar 1 an MCP client for learning. But we did not talk how you would scale it. Because here's the reality. These agents need data. They need to connect to GitHub, Slack, Notion, even your databases. And managing authentications, rate limits, and monitoring for dozens of services, that's week of infrastructure work before you write a single line of agent logic. This is Storm MCP, and it's basically the production infrastructure layer for everything we have been building.
Instead of manually handling authentication for every service, managing rate limits, and debugging failed connection at 3 a.m., Storm gives you an enterprise-grade infrastructure out of the box.
Here's how fast this is. Browse 100 plus pre-configured MCP servers, GitHub, Stripe, Notion, Slack, all the services your agents need. Click to add them, create a gateway, connect it to any MCP client. That's it. One gateway URL replaces dozens of custom integrations. But here's what really matters for production. Complete observability. Every MCP request is logged in real time with full JSON RPC payloads. When something breaks at 2 a.m., you will know exactly what happened and why. This is the difference between a prototype and a production system.
This video is sponsored by Storm. And honestly, I wish this existed when I started building MCP agents 6 months ago. It would have saved me weeks of debugging authentication flows. They have a free tier to get you started, and I have put the link in the description.
Now, let's get back to building our multi-agent system.
Alright, let's architect this team. The key to any multi-agent system is defining clear roles and managing handoffs. For that, we are using LangGraph, the only framework that treats agent collaboration as a graph problem, not a chain problem.
We are building a digital creative agency. The orchestrator is our project manager. It holds the brief and routes tasks. Then we have 4 specialists: a historian to analyze source material, a designer, a copywriter, and a developer. Each has one job, and each does it well. Notice the structure: historian to designer, historian to copywriter, both arrows leaving historian. That's parallel execution. But both designer and copywriter has an arrow to developer, 2 arrows entering developers. That's a join. The developer wait for both. First, the dependencies. We need LangGraph for orchestration, LangChain OpenAI for our models, Python.env for secure API key handling, and Pillow for any image processing. Set your OpenAI API key. You will need access to GPT-4o. Quick sanity check. Run Python -- version. You need 3.11 or higher. LangGraph uses type-decked features that don't exist in older version.
The most critical piece of this entire architecture is the state. It is the shared memory of the team. Think of it as the project folder that can pass from desk to desk. Get the state wrong, and the whole system fails.
Our state object is a type dictionary. It's strongly typed Python. Will yell at you if you try to put the wrong data type in a field. We have 1 input, brochure URL, and 4 outputs: analysis, design mockup, copy, and code. As the project moves through our graph, this state gets progressively filled out. Each agent receives the current state, does its job, and returns a dictionary to update the state. A common mistake is returning a new string from an agent instead of a dictionary. LangGraph expects return analysis result, not return result. If you return the wrong type, you will get a cryptic key error. Trust me, I have seen it 47 times. At this point, your code should run without errors, even though it does nothing. It just proves your types are defined correctly. Test it now before moving forward.
Now we build our first specialist, the historian. Its only job is to read that 1977 brochure and extract the core theme, technical specs, and the voice of early Apple.
Each agent is a Python function that takes the current state, does one specialized job, and returns a dictionary to update the state. Simple, clean, testable. Notice we return a dictionary with the key analysis because that matches our web design state definition. This is the handoff. We are passing our finding to the next agents. Don't make the historian do too much. My first version tried to have it analyze and then suggest design directions. That's wrong. Specialist role mean one job, analysis only. The designer interrupts it. Pro tip: use temperature equals 0.3 for analytical agents. You want consistency and accuracy, not creativity. Save higher temperature for the designer and copywriter.
We create the same function pattern for designer, copywriter, and developer. I will show you the designer, the other follow the same blueprints.
Notice the temperature, it jumped to 0.7. We want creative interpretation, but still grounded in the analysis. The prompt gives strict constraints. This is crucial. Without no unnecessary elements, the AI will add carousels, social proof widgets, all the garbage modern websites have. We are building Apple, not a marketing agency portfolio. Copywriter follows the same pattern. Takes the analysis, output web copy in job's voice. Developer take both the design and the copy. Generates HTML, CSS, and minimal JavaScript. Same structure, different specialization. The developer agent will try to add features not in the spec. My solution: give it a strict design fidelity instruction. Output only what's specified. No extras, no improvements. That one line cut hallucination by 80%. A pro tip: use different models for different nodes if you are optimizing cost. GPT-4o for creative agent designer, copywriter, GPT-4o mini or even GPT 3.5 turbo for the developer. Code generation doesn't need the full reasoning power. You can cut cost by 70% with strategic model selection.
Now the final piece, assembling the team. This is where we define the workflows, who talk to whom, in what order, and where parallel execution happens.
This is the architecture blueprint. We initialize a static graph with our state schema. Then we add each agent as a node. The magic happens in the edges. 2 edges leave historian. One goes to designer, one to copywriter. That means both fire simultaneously. They don't wait for each other, they only need the analysis. But look at the next 2 edges. Both designer and copywriter point to developer. That's an implicit join. LangGraph won't start the developer until both designer and copywriter have finished. That's how you build dependency graphs. We set historian as the entry point. Always starts here. Developer is the finish point. Once it completes, the workflow terminates. Compile it, and you've got a runnable multi-agent system. Pro tip: for complex workflows with conditional logic, like if the output quality is low, send it back for revision. Use add conditional edges instead of add edge. You provide a function that decides which node to route to next. That's how you build loops and branching logic. That's it. One function call and the entire team executes. Historian analyze, designer and copywriter work in parallel, developer builds the final output. All orchestrated by LangGraph's execution engine.
One thing that surprised me during this build is the developer agent prompt. My first prompt was too simple. Build a website from the design and copy. The result was a mess. The agent ignored the simple brief. and added a widget chatbot for some reason.
Your code must be as clean and minimal as the design. No frameworks, no libraries, no flashy animations. If it is not in the spec, it doesn't exist. That single human-centric constraint made all the difference. It's a reminder that even with a team of agents, the architect's vision is what guides the project. The technology enables, the human directs. Multi-agent systems aren't about removing a human from the loop. They are about elevating a human from executors to architects. You are not writing the CSS anymore. You are designing the company that writes the CSS.
So, that's pillar 3, collaboration. It's not just about code. It's about creating systems for teamwork. We took creative complex goal and broke it down into specialized role, managed by clear orchestration. That's the core of multi-agent system.
Here's your homework. Clone this repo, replace the Apple brochure with any PDF of your choice, a product manual, a movie script, a business plan, your company investor deck, run the team, post your thought in the comments. I will feature the best in pillar 4. If this helped you think like an architect, a like is appreciated. Dislike if I missed something crucial. Your feedback makes these better. Next time, we tackle the most important pillar of all, reliability. We have built powerful agents. Now we make sure that they don't fail in production. Finally, I am Aad Fataya. Keep building, and I will see you in the next one.